Seasons, greetings, gastronauts. This is KeefCooks. I'm Keef, and it's Christmas again. So I'm going to do something festive. I'm going to make cinnamon rolls in the shape of a Christmas tree. How cool is that? So I'm pretty sure cinnamon rolls aren't particularly festive, except they've got a lot of cinnamon in them, and that is one of the spices associated with Christmassy things, so that's my excuse. Also, it's in the shape of a Christmas tree. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, buy a t-shirt, and let's get on with it. Cinnamon rolls in the shape of a Christmas tree. First job, make the dough. It's got yeast in it, it's going to need a few hours to rise and stuff like that. So I've got 600 grams of strong white bread flour. I've got 75 ml of milk, which I need to warm in the microwave to make it like lukewarm. 90 grams of butter, cut into small bits. 1 egg, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 75 grams of caster sugar, powdered sugar, active dried yeast, 1.5 teaspoons. So we'll just get this warmed up. I'll just give it a minute in the microwave, see how we get on. And of course I forgot something, a sploosh of vanilla extract. So I've warmed the milk. I need to mix together the flour and the sugar and the cinnamon and the yeast. And now I'll add the butter. If you're doing this by hand, you'll need to rub it in with your fingertips. And when you've got a mixture that looks like breadcrumbs, we'll add the milk, the egg, and the vanilla extract. And guess what? Mixy mixy! Now it's come together in a more of a clump than a ball. So I'm going to change to the dough hook, and we need to knead it for 7 to 10 minutes. Because it is basically a kind of bread. There we go, nice lump of dough. Now I need to put a little bit of oil in a bowl and kind of roll the dough around in it so its surface is all covered so it won't dry out. Then cover it with plastic film and put that in a warm place till it's doubled in volume. Okay, while the dough is rising, we need to do a couple of odd jobs. One is to make like a template or a stencil, the shape of the Christmas tree, so we can place our cinnamon rolls accurately. Yeah, I know. I was going to make a tin to do it in a Christmas tree shaped tin, but out of wood, and then I thought, that's probably toxic. You want a baking sheet? A brand new thing of greaseproof paper whose cutter actually works. Yes! I need something to size the rolls with. So I'll use this. It's 7 centimetres, 2 3/4 inches diameter. And actually for the bottom, I'll make it a square roll somehow, because that'd be more convincingly Christmas tree-ish. Draw a triangle, and then I think like 4 on the bottom row. And I'm not intending to make this stand up, it's going to be laid flat. I know my limits, and even I can't change the laws of physics, so that'll be 3 on the next row. And 2, and 1. Except I want the top one to be a gold star. Yes, I do. Don't ask me how I'm going to do that. I know how I'm going to make it gold, but I don't know how I'm going to form a gold star. But I'll work something out. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now the other thing to do is make a sugary, buttery, cinnamony filling. So I've got 175 grams of demerara sugar, teaspoon of cinnamon and 60 grams of butter. That needs to be melted, and these need to be mixed together. So I'll just melt that in the microwave. Get your fantastically well-risen dough. Oh, wow, look at that. That's incredible. And flatten it. So flour on the worktop. Let's tip it out. And we need to roll it into a rectangle. It needs to be about 1/2 metre wide and 300 ml long. And quite thin is good. And try and straighten up the edges. Now we need to paint the dough with the melted butter, and then sprinkle the sugar and cinnamon mixture all over. Actually, might have too much sugar here. Never mind. And you want to roll it as tightly as you can because we're going to slice it. Alright. Marvellous. Try and get the thickness as even as you can. And then I'll divide it into 11, we decided, didn't we? So that'll be 2, 4, 10, 12. So we can position them on the paper and try and leave a bit of space between them because they will grow and join together, and then we want that to happen so that you tear it off the whole tree when you're ready to eat it. Well, I was a bit optimistic about being able to do a star, but I've done 2 triangles, and yeah, also a bit optimistic about the space available on this tray. And will that actually fit in the oven? Probably not. I know. Yeah, Keefy. Who's a clever bunny? Then you want to cover that with a clean tea towel and leave it in a warm place for about an hour to prove again. Alright, it's had its hour, so let's have a look. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Right, these are spares, so don't be distracted by them. Oh, it's nice and soft. We need to preheat the oven to 160 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven. That's 180 for a conventional one, and at a gas 4 or 5 on it. And then we bake them for 20 to 25 minutes until they're beautiful and golden and brown. Okay, time's up. Wow. Well. Yeah. Oh heck, they grew. Alright, there's my tree. Not looking terribly tree-like at the moment, but I'm going to decorate the, what would be the leafy section with green royal icing. Yeah. So this could be a bit of a challenge because I'm not an expert with icing, and I've been looking at recipes, and a lot of them use egg whites. Some use meringue powder, which I've never seen, and I don't know why you would use that. And yeah, so it's pretty confusing, especially given that the manufacturers of icing sugar, confectionery sugar in the UK, have their recipe for icing, royal icing, which is just icing sugar and water. Also, their recipe is based on using the whole pack, which is far too much. So I'm going to use 90 grams of icing sugar, 10 ml of cold water, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of glycerin, and that makes it soft, reduces its brittleness, and a teeny weeny bit of green food colouring. So there's 90 grams of icing sugar, and you can see it's pretty lumpy. So I'm going to sieve it to get rid of the lumps. There it is, nice sifted icing sugar. A little bit of this extremely concentrated powdered food colouring. You might use gel or some kind of paste or whatever, in which case follow the instructions for quantities to use. Right, now I'm going to put half the water into this bowl and the sugar and mix that to a thick paste. Oh, you can see the colours coming through with the green. Thick paste indeed. I'll try a bit more water. Okay, I actually ended up adding about twice as much water as I said. So that'll be 20 ml or 4 teaspoons. And if you add too much water and make it too runny, you can always add in more sugar to thicken it up again. So we just need to add glycerin. Teeny bit. This is a 1/4 teaspoon. That's possibly 1/8 of a teaspoon. Mix it in. Mixy. Okay, I'm going to have a little practice on this biscuit. I've fitted it with the tiniest nozzle that I have. Yeah. I don't want any on the top 3 things, which are the golden star. Now I've got some glacé cherries stuck in half. I'll place them in the centre of each roll, and the icing will stick it on. Now I'll just drop some mixed peel all over it. The stuff is sticky already, so should stick on all by itself. Now for my 3-pointed star at the top, the one that I said would be gold, I've got this spray, edible spray, gold, sort of glittery stuff. And then I think we'll just wait for the icing to set, take its photo, and then we can have a bit and destroy it. Okay, finally, here it is in all its wonderful, colourful glory. I'm quite pleased with that. That had actually snapped off before, that's why it was so easy, but anyway. That's pretty nice. Sweet cinnamon roll. That'd be a great party piece if you were having a party. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.